Let's see if this is working. Starting stream, health,
Oh,
it's
you were right.
green. That's good. Awesome. Oh, let's mute that. People don't want to hear. People don't want to hear a echo of us. Hey! Hi, Wholesome Roots. How are you doing, Rose?
Thanks for coming.
All right.
And
It's
art
art
and
and homesteading.
homesteading. Sweet.
Yeah, I most of the time when we've done the live streams, I've set them up and did all the research for that. And I wasn't sure I was going to be here on time, so Laura was trying to figure it out in case I wasn't here. So she was trying to do some quick Google searching and
And putting 3 kids down to bed at the same time.
feeding all the animals, all
I'm
that stuff.
I'm impressed that it's working on time because it did not look good about 20
too.
minutes ago.
I told her she
Hey-
tried to
Okay.
she tried to call me, or she did call me earlier. She was like, "You gonna be home?" And I was like, "I'm trying to finish this up. I'm not sure." I said, "Go ahead and Google it again, because if I mean, it's been so long since we've live streamed." I said I'd have to Google it too once I got home. So,
We got Grandpa Dan is here. April, Grammy, and Claire from Perceiving a Life. Thanks for stopping by.
hey, BBQ79, what's up? I've been painting
Yes. You want to
almost
tell
all of the
everybody
day.
what you've been painting?
Well, our house in town is hopefully going to sell on Friday, and they told us today that I needed to scrape. They said if there's any peeling paint on the house on the outside, I need to scrape it and paint it. So that's what I was doing today.
That's what I've been telling you about the Teal house for 2 years.
Let me tell you though, that was just a little bit. That wasn't a whole house like this is to scrape and paint. And I'm I've had my fill for right now. Let's see, we got YB Family Farm, Youngblood Family Farm on here, and James. Hey James, and my brother John is on here. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, we're pretty excited, Claire, about selling the house in town. We've owned 2 houses for 2 years, so it's going to be really nice to only have one.
Yeah, we had a renter in it. Let's see, for like
6 months.
8 months,
Yeah, I think,
something like
yeah.
that. But we're excited to sell it.
Hey, Willow Creek.
Is it still looking good and you can hear everything okay? It says our stream health is like orange or yellow now, so hopefully it's not glitchy for y'all.
This is our first time trying to stream from the farm. Competition moved in the neighborhood, and suddenly our internet provider could provide more internet for the same amount of money.
Right. Yeah, but the last few times we've streamed, we've always done it from my parents' house because they had good internet. But we finally got good internet out here, and so we thought we'd try and stream. But I wasn't sure the laptop that we use is it's kind of cheap. Um, and when we first started streaming, uh, the laptop was brand new. We didn't have anything on it, and I wasn't sure if we were gonna bog it down, because we've got a lot of stuff on here now. Hello, Irene from Houston, and when C Goff is here too.
All right, all the way from the UK. Is it 5 hours ahead of us? So is it like 1 o'clock in the morning there?
Oh man.
So do you want to tell them our big plan for the chickens? Why
Yeah.
or you want to save that for a
No, we
video?
can. Well, we'll make a video of it too for sure, but I don't know what you all think because I know everybody does their chickens differently. And growing up, we always had, I don't know, maybe five or six hens somewhere in there, maybe a little bit more, and we put them in a movable coop, and we just moved it once or twice every day, and that was pretty simple for us growing up. But we've got like 25 chickens and 7 ducks now, and we just let them free range and they run all over the yard. Um, but and I thought at first that I would really like that. I'm trying to catch up. 2:05. I'm trying to catch up on the. I get telling my stories or my thoughts, and then I forget about the chat. Anyway, they just go wherever they want right now, and it causes some problems. And so I kind of want to try Justin Rhodes' method of using a chickshaw or something like that and move them around with the electric fence. I'm kind of sick of them pooping everywhere. I mean, anywhere. And it's kind of our own fault, but also we toss a lot of our food scraps outside for them. So anytime they hear a door shut, they are at the back door. It's usually the back door. They are there, and that like you almost can't get through at first.
I don't know,
Uh,
it makes me feel kind of famous.
what does?
Got your
Oh
paparazzi out
yeah,
waiting for you.
that's true. As soon as you open the door. Oh. Um, and then there's something. Oh, the eggs. Sometimes they just lay their eggs wherever they want, and you can't find them.
I agree, BBQ 79. Let's fry them. So I've been telling him we need to thin the flock down for winter.
Right. But I'm thinking I want to do that. It'll just keep them all in one spot, and I'm thinking like for our dogs, I want to put out, and like if we get any other bigger animals, I want to put out some, I don't know, like a water trough or whatever. But if I do that, the ducks are just gonna make it disgusting in about 5 minutes. So I'm thinking about doing the chickshaw thing, and I don't know. Everything out here is an experiment because we're brand new at it, trying different things. So the free range thing is not terrible. It's pretty easy. Oh, and the chickens, and I've not figured this out yet. Uh, they started roosting on top of the coop at night, and it drives me nuts. And I thought I tried to do some research, and I thought maybe we had lice. I always say that. I say it wrong in my
We
head
do
too.
have mice
Well,
too.
sometimes I thought maybe it was lice or mites, but they don't have those. And it's not too crowded in there. I mean, it's twice the size of what a chickshaw would be for that many birds. Um,
Willow Creek says hers do that too. So
I don't know
our
what it
chickens
is.
aren't just extra stupid, apparently.
No, and it's not that I don't have any like overly aggressive roosters. Like my full grown rooster, um, he's pretty laid back. Like he doesn't intimidate all of them. Like I don't know. So
All right, so YB just asked if we're getting any more apples, and the answer is yes, but I'm done picking them. So
that's true.
I think we put up almost 100 jars of varieties of apples. So
Yeah, Laura
I'm
Laura
I'm
knocked it out of
good.
the park.
And
Laura and the
then
girls.
yeah, yeah. Well, I was impressed. Micah, I think it was mostly that because she was the 4-year old and she was the only one strong enough to use the apple peeler, she sat down and peeled apples for hours with
Yeah.
me. But I think it was mostly because she knew Ivy couldn't and she was rubbing it in a little bit about how big she was. So
Hi Maria. Hi Heidi. There was another question.
oh, so
Oh, rabbits.
rabbits, yeah.
Yes, I want to get rabbits. I don't know why we haven't yet. Because I know as far as animals go, it's not like getting a milk cow where it's just this huge time investment, and it's not an animal like that. We just need to buckle down and get them, and they're not that expensive either.
No, we
You
just
can
well,
get.
you had some, but there wasn't what you wanted or something like
Yeah, I don't know. I've not. I don't. Yeah, we need to though. There's really nothing keeping us from it. We've got the hutches built. There's rabbits, everywhere in Missouri. I had talked to uh, Stephanie from for Teal?
JS Farms
Yeah, JS Farms.
2000. Is it 2004?
2004.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I talked to Stephanie about getting a few rabbits from her at one time, and then we just kind of lost connection. But we need to though.
So John is asking about puppies. They are 12 weeks. Is that
They
right?
gotta
No,
be
they're gonna be bigger than
when your sister came, they're like 12 weeks. They're
that.
like
Okay,
16
so
weeks.
yeah, they are
Yeah.
big. They're getting big. They're
Yeah.
pretty smart though. I would say they're starting to behave.
Yeah, they're getting better. Claire says she'll give us an Henri doe.
I would say that they still. Wheat Tree wants to know us going. Still cannot figure how to get them to stop messing with my clothesline. That's more. It just annoys me because I'll be inside and I'll
Yeah.
look out the window and you see the line going boing 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 because somebody's trying to jump up
It's
there
like you have to like stand right next to the line and like get them or whatever.
and it's
But
always it's just one sock or something. So then you're stuck with a no matching pair.
hi Texas boys, thanks for showing up. That's good. We got a good group in here. Um, I've not processed rabbits, but I've seen it done, and we've actually it was either the second or third time my dad and I processed chickens growing up. We skinned them like rabbits, and it was super easy. It made it really easy actually. And actually we probably have six juvenile roosters that I need to butcher. It's it's been
Our
a
poor hens.
it's been a long, long time coming. They need to go down. I just keep putting it off and putting it off. And right now they're so old that they're only going to be good probably for stewing.
That's all right.
I mean they're what are they?
By the way, if anybody has a good recipe for chicken and dumplings, it's been, I've tried what, five, more than that, attempts,
Yeah.
and you haven't Sam has not found the right one yet. But he can't, so he told me he wants me to make it like his grandma. And so I asked his grandma for the recipe, and she claims that she's never made chicken and dumplings. So somebody's lying.
I don't know. Hello, Pearl.
When are we coming over to steam it? Well, when we have enough time to sit down and load things up, which
I know.
hopefully, if this house sells, that'll be a major thing that we're not messing with.
Well, and it shouldn't be too it shouldn't be too difficult for us, I think, because I think initially we can even use some of the blogs you've already written,
Yeah.
and then just kind of move them over to Steam it and put them in that format. So I think it should be pretty easy, hopefully. Yeah, I know Rose is like she's a freak on Steam it. She posts all the time, really good articles. She took it up and is running with it like crazy. I have had rabbit before, James. It was very good. Oh, and Flying VS Farm is here. Let's see what else.
Well, you did. Do you want to talk about the interview you did this week? Can they find that?
Oh yeah. I don't know if it's posted yet though. Anyway, I did one of my well, I can shout out their YouTube channel.
Okay.
One of my friends from high school just started doing YouTube, and we actually haven't even talked until I saw him post a link on Facebook. And if you guys want to go and sub to them, they're just starting out. It's called That Homeschool Thing, and they're homeschooling their boys. They have three boys, and they're actually about the same age as our girls. And he does a podcast as well, and I don't know if he's posted it yet, but he interviewed me late last week about homeschooling and me being brought up about and we also talked about homesteading as well. So it was really fun to do and catch up. But you guys can go sub to their channel. It's called That Homeschool Thing. It's a pretty they're really good. I mean, when I look at them starting out and I look at our videos starting out, they are really good. They are night and day. I mean, and his wife Courtney is photographer, and so like there's some cinematography and their shots and all that. They're great. They do a really good job. They're very entertaining. Oh, that's what Rose said she did. Started with old blog posts and then started creating original content. That would make it pretty easy. Those
Yeah.
first few Steam It
I
posts.
think we even have an account set up, don't we? We just haven't
Yeah,
posted anything.
I've got a we've been approved and everything. We just haven't. Rose says she's making way more on Steam It than YouTube by far. It's got to be a good writer. I think you would do really well with your blog post about cloth diapers because you go in really good detail. I think you do a good job.
Mr. Rain is here.
All right,
Does that mean the party can start now?
that's right. And it's a good thing though. We've got Heidi here to keep him
Oh,
in check.
okay, make him behave.
Yeah, just in
Perfect.
case. What is Steam It? That's kind of a hard one to
It's like
explain.
if YouTube and a blog had a baby, it would be Steam It because it's like you have writing and video, right?
Well, you can post a video on there.
Hmm.
It's kind of like a blog, I think. Um, but then it gets involved with you can upvote things and like the way you know kind of give them a thumbs up or share them, things like that. Uh, it's kind of monetized in a way. It's a little complicated, and I need to do more research. That's another reason we haven't really jumped on. I want to make sure I do it right.
Hey, Deep South. Thanks for stopping by.
Oh, and Deep South got their video up. Or we tagged them.
Oh yeah, we have to go watch.
Yep,
I forgot
we
about. I
won't.
have to go check it out.
Yeah, Rose says Facebook and cryptocurrency. Yeah, because like the money that you would get from Steam It, you have to um you have to like transfer it over to Bitcoin and then you can cash it out or something like that. It's a little more involved. If you've if you've ever messed with Reddit, it's kind of like Reddit a little bit too. Um, oh, Peoria dude is
All
here
right.
and Bandana Grandma. Thanks for dropping in.
So let's talk about. So the gardening season's over. I
Yeah.
guess we could talk about that. I think it
Okay.
went pretty well. So let's talk about what went well.
Okay.
The fact that I wasn't pregnant made it a lot easier than last
Oh,
year.
well, let's talk about last year compared to this year.
Last year we got 600,000 yellow squash and 2 tomatoes, and that was pretty much the
Well, last year we
garden.
weren't living at the house yet. I was still trying to get it ready and fix it up, so we weren't living here.
Yeah.
And um, part of that year, our well pump broke, and so we didn't have water on the farm. We had to tote all of our water in for
Yep.
the garden, and Laura was pregnant,
Yep.
really pregnant. And so between all of that stuff,
We basically grew yellow squash. Was the only thing that survived.
yeah, it was rough.
So, but
I sow the land.
this year went really well. Everything I planted produced, which was really good, except
Yeah,
for carrots, which got flooded out because we had major rain
right.
for like 10 days in a row and they just rotted in the ground. So I was pretty impressed. I feel like we doubled the size of our garden and everything produced. So I feel like that was a win win win.
Yeah, and we're
So
planning to make it even bigger next
we
year.
are.
Yeah.
You
And
want?
you canned and preserved so
I
much
did.
stuff. That was
I
like
did.
that was the big goal was to try and plant things that we could preserve and carry over, whether it was canning or we still got onions hanging up that are dry.
The shelves in my pantry are like this right now because they're not meant for holding all those cans. So we're gonna have to
I need to
rethink.
build better
We
shelves.
need to
Yeah.
rethink how we're storing them.
Yep.
So
Mhm. I'm excited. I see you guys talking about the temperatures. We have one more hot day here, and then it's supposed to cool off. I'm so excited about it. Hi, Maria. Thanks for dropping in.
what do you want? Does anybody have any questions? We take questions.
Yeah, we take questions too. Yeah, digging up more rocks next year. That's right. I know.
Well, we put all this effort into that garden spot because it's where the other people had had their garden, so we thought that made sense. And then when we expanded the garden this year, we discovered that the soil just outside the garden was this beautiful black, not rocky, gorgeous soil. So I was kind of ticked that I spent 2 years working so hard on that stupid little square because I thought that's where it had to be, and discovered the soil was actually much better on the outside and didn't have all those boulders in there.
Right.
So
I was trying to think, what are the other what are the other things, our goals that we had talked about, our video? I thought maybe we could go over those, but I'm trying to remember what all the goals were. I know one goal we had set for this year that I don't know we're going to make is to finish our mudroom and finish our bathroom before the end of the year. And the bathroom, I think we might get there. I think we might the mudroom, not so much,
we just have
because
to finish that bathroom before whenever we decide to have the next kid because I don't want the midwife to come back and be like, still haven't painted the bathroom, have you?
that's right. Oh man, we got that bathroom finished so that you could go in there like was it like 3 or 4 days before you had the baby
Oh
or
yeah.
a week? I don't
I
know. It was
I
really
twisted
close.
his arm for us to move here before I had that baby because I knew if we had a baby and then tried to move, it was never gonna happen. So I put my foot down and we moved.
She did.
We moved our stuff in like the day before we were supposed to have the home visit from the midwife.
It was
It was
chaos.
chaos.
We had a lot of friends from church come and help. We were very grateful for that, but we got it done in the nick of time. But
So
you're right, we do need to finish it.
thanks for stopping by, Willow Creek.
We'll see you guys later. Um. Oh, but the mudroom. Before we can finish the mudroom, I need to get a new roof on it, and I just don't know that that's gonna happen. Deep South said it's gonna be in the 90s for the next 10 days.
Wow.
I feel your pain. It's been in the 90s the last 5 days here, six
Yeah,
days.
high 80s, 90s.
Yeah, that's just and it's funny because we had a break in those temps like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it had dropped down to where the highs were only 75 or 80. I feel like I can get so much more done outside because I'm not just sweating buckets. I felt like I was twice as productive outside when it's 70 degrees.
Yeah. A rain country, having hot flashes.
Oh no. Okay. We,
What do
we
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 got?
have to we're gonna have to go look for Trish if we don't see her for a couple of days. Oh man.
We might have to go look for Mr. Rain after this one's over. Talking about stashing a body.
Oh man.
If anybody hasn't had a chance to check out Heidi there at Rain Country, makes awesome skirts and other kind
Oh,
of
they.
old school quilted designs. I can't think of the
I
right
think
word, but
she and Mr. Rain can make anything
yeah,
out of whatever.
check out her Facebook or YouTube channel. We bought some patchwork skirts. That's the word for the girls, and they think they are awesome.
Laura was eyeing one of Mr. Rain's bowls those wooden bowls. They're beautiful. She was giving me the
Yeah, but
elbow
well, I
the other
just read
day.
this book called Radical Homemakers, and it talked about how men, 150 years ago during the Industrial Revolution, left behind their trades at home and in turn for going to town and making money. And it was using the analogy of how bowl making was something that a man would do to provide for his family. So it was just funny that that same day I saw Mr. Rain making a bowl. So apparently that makes him a man's man.
You can't pull it over on him.
How
Let's
to build a
see. Hi,
raft.
Randall. Thanks for dropping by. Let's see. Claire has a question.
Okay. Do
Do you
you have
have any
anything?
advice for someone like me who is just starting to can water bath?
I would make sure that you stick with a trusted source, because I made the mistake of after I canned a few things, like, I know what I'm doing, and I started looking at blogs for recipes to can, and the times were way off, and I had to throw
Yeah,
a bunch of
we
stuff
made
away.
some whoopsies at the very
So
beginning.
the Ball Blue Book of Canning is a really good one. There's also the National Center for Food Preservation. They're very, very conservative, so you know that what they're going to recommend is definitely safe. There's some things that people do that they don't necessarily recommend because they don't feel like there's enough information on it. So you'd have to do your own, like, are they not recommending it because it's not safe? Or are they not recommending it because they don't feel like there's been enough studies? Kind of have to do your own looking into that. But you can't go wrong with those two. And then you don't have to be like me and dump out half of the stuff you spent all that time canning because you didn't follow the
What
guide.
was the one thing we did that we
I
messed
made
up?
a bunch of hamburger stew,
That's right.
and the recipe was really good, but the amount of time the lady had recommended canning it for was half of what it should be for something with beef in it, and I didn't know enough to know better. So luckily, a nice subscriber
Yeah, we had
called me
two or
out, and
three.
you know,
They were very gracious
yeah.
about it too.
So,
Um, I'm trying to think what our other goals were that we had lined out
oh,
for
how did
that.
the dandelion jelly came out? Really good. The girls had a lot of fun doing that. It tasted a lot like kind of was like a lemon honey. It was interesting.
Yeah, lemon honey is a good
It's all
description.
gone now. It only made 4 jelly jars. It didn't make a whole lot, but it was super easy, and the girls basically got to help with the whole thing. So,
Yeah, it's like the perfect thing for little kids because every little kid loves to pick
mhm.
dandelions anyways, and you can get them all out there with their little bucket or bag, and it's within reach.
Yeah.
They loved it. They thought it was awesome.
The only thing I tried to rinse the dandelions before I plucked the green off to make the tea, and that was a stupid idea because when the dandelions get wet, they close up, and then they were really hard to get off the stem. So peel the flower off first, and then rinse it. That's my.
But it turned out great.
It did.
It's like
It just was
it
a
was
lot of
a
work.
really good. I'd say it's. I feel like some jellies and stuff. I mean, you can eat them whenever, but I feel like some of them just taste like summer or fall. And that one was just light, and it tasted like spring or summer to me, the dandelion jelly. But
Bye,
then when oh,
bye, Rose. Thanks for stopping by.
see you later. Um, but like when we had Laura made the pear jam last year, we just made apple jelly. That's like a fall thing. It just tastes like fall, I think.
All right, Maria's got a question for you.
From when you started your channel to now, in what ways do you feel you have grown? Uh, well, I think we could answer that in a couple different ways.
We actually have a farm with animals now.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say we have a farm that actually produces some stuff. I was gonna look at it from like a YouTube
Oh,
standpoint
okay.
too.
I made a lot of connections with people, really
Yeah,
encouraging.
a lot of friends. I think we're better at we learn skills like editing videos. Beard, yeah.
When you're done with this, I have a beard story.
Uh-oh. Um, but I think we're better at that and filming. I think we've gotten better at making vlogs and things like that.
Hmm.
Uh, I feel like my skills, as far as fixing things, have gotten a little bit better. Um, I feel like I can build stuff faster and
You're,
stronger
and
now.
it's a lot more square than when
Yeah,
you first
yeah. I tell you what, those hutches are. Woo!
started.
They're rough. They're kind of an eyesore, but they're sturdy. We had a I built those hutches, and then it was like a week after I mean, it took me forever to get them all built. But after I built them, it was a week later. We had a bad storm come through with like tornadoes and everything. We had 60 or 70-mile-an-hour winds, and they're just standing there by themselves. They're not, I don't have them attached to a shed or anything, and they never blew over. So that makes me feel pretty good about them. All right.
All right, weird story. So we got Sunday, church day, and Sam works for a church, so we got up really early and threw all the kids in their church clothes and in the car amidst tears and whatever happens on Sunday morning. And then we're driving, and I look over, and the sun is shining off of this beard, and I
Oh
look at it,
no.
and I tell him, I said, "Gee, your beard looks really like I think I said voluptuous today. It was just shiny and puffy and it was beautiful. And he first takes the compliment and then he looks really guilty and looks at me. He says, I have to be honest. I used some of your conditioner, which is like a 3 times volumizing conditioner. So his beard was like poof, all Sunday at church. I mean, it was fantastic looking.
Oh man. Oh, there was a question I missed or a statement I wanted to. I'm trying
Somebody
to
asked,
see.
oh, go ahead.
Oh no 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 no. What? What was? Did you see it? Did you catch
No, no,
it?
I didn't.
I missed it.
And it smelled of flower. It did. It smelled like mangoes.
Smell the flowers. Thanks, John. Oh
If you
goodness.
could go back in time, what would you say to your newbie self? Maria's asking the good
Yes,
questions
she
here.
is. I would. Here's what I would say, and I'm not taking my advice on the rabbits part, but we should. But I'd say just like go for it, because whatever it is, like obviously do some research. Don't just turn around one day and get an animal without doing any research, or plant a vegetable without doing research and planting it in the proper time. But after you've done a little research, just go for it because you're gonna make a mistake
Mm-hmm.
anyway, and so you might as well make it sooner than later. Like uh, that, that's what I'm learning as we go along with the farming thing is to just go ahead and go ahead and jump in there. Hi, Chicka Wolf Ranch. Good to see ya.
I don't know. I think I've learned to just get up, trying to. I don't know advice, but just get up early and get it done because you're not going to feel like it later. That kind of thing. Like, I don't know.
See ya, Bandana
Stuff
Grandma.
always
Hope you
comes up.
feel better soon.
Stuff always comes up during the day. And so if you get your goals, think of the night before what you want to get done, and then you just get up and hit it first instead of thinking you got all day to get it done.
Yeah.
It makes the day more enjoyable.
Something else that we actually haven't done it in a week or so, but there for a while we were writing down all of our goals for each day, like a week or two
Mm-hmm.
in advance. And I felt like I was the most productive I've ever been in my
Yeah,
life.
we need
No
to get
joke.
back to
I
doing
mean,
that.
we were cranking stuff out like crazy. Um, and sometimes it feels bad if there's something on your list you can't accomplish, but uh, for the most part, it was really helping us get stuff done. Let's see. Deep South Homestead says they would be more patient with their homesteading. Oh goodness. Thanks, Maria. What were our other goals? Oh, we wanted to get a simple pump for our well. If you haven't heard of them, they're pretty cool. Uh, so right now we're on well water and we're still connected to the grid and all that. And uh, we do have power outages every so often because we live in the boonies. Oh, Texas Boys! It's their 18th
18th
anniversary
anniversary.
today. Congratulations, guys! That's awesome. Um, Anyway, our power goes out and it makes me nervous because I'm thinking if this power stays out tonight, how am I going to water my animals in the morning? And if we know a bad storm's coming, we usually fill some jugs and buckets and stuff for them. And we only have the chickens and the dogs right now, so it's not too bad. See you later, Claire. Thanks for stopping by. But the simple pump, you can put it on your existing wellhead, even though you still have you're hooked up to the grid and it has the pipe going through it, because the simple pump just uses a very thin fiberglass straw and goes all the way down your well pipe, and then you can put a manual pump on top, or you can actually get a motor and hook it up to you could use solar or just your regular electric. And you can also switch back and forth between the manual pump and the motor. I want to get one of those really bad.
Robert says that he wishes they could homestead, but the land prices are astronomical here in the UK. There's a channel on YouTube you should look up. It's called Sustainable Acres, and it's this couple, and they are homesteaders, and they grow and raise something like 90% of their food, and they own less than half an acre, and they do it all on their land. It is really cool. So don't let lack of space discourage you. There are a lot of people that
That
grow.
can be discouraging though.
Yeah, a lot of people grow a lot of food in pots, so you can use a little bit of sunshine you have.
I know when we first started looking for property, at first I thought we needed, 20, 30, 40 acres is what I'd love to get. Um, but now we ended up with 10 acres, and I almost feel like it's more than we can manage, really.
It is right now more than we can manage. Luckily, we have really nice neighbors who come and help us.
Yeah. Yep. Uh, let's see. Oh, Peoria dude says, please do a video on that pump. Oh, I will. Once we get one, I want it bad. They're really cool. They just the manual side because it costs more if you want to get the motor that goes with it. But just having the manual pump side, they estimate around $1,500 for their setup, which is it's pricey, but I feel like it's a good investment. And it pumps manually. It'll pump 5 gallons a minute, which isn't too bad,
Hmm.
and it'll pump
No, with
deep
these
to
guns,
down.
it'd be at least 10.
Yeah. It'll go.
We'll have John come over, and that'll
That's
be
right, John. Whoa, whoa, whoa,
15.
whoa. That was over the line. Um, but anyway, it'll pump down to like 250 feet, 300 feet, something like that. So
What else are we talking about? No, I don't even remember. Oh, we're gonna get that
oh,
simple pump
I
though.
remember what I wanted to say. The comment earlier.
Oh,
Peoria dude is posting stuff in here about the Cubs beating the Cardinals, and I just don't know how I feel about that.
you haven't watched a Cardinals game.
No, but I keep up with them. I listen to them all the time. Rain Country wants more to get a milk cow and have more privacy. I know. I mean, from where we lived in the city, this is definitely in the country, and we've got neighbors close. But I tell Laura, some days I want to move even more, like
He thinks we're not
into
rural
the middle, into
enough.
the middle of nowhere.
He wants to.
Some days.
How did we factor in the girls in deciding to homestead?
Oh, that's a good
That's.
question.
I think that was a big. We didn't really talk about it seriously until we were pregnant with our first, and we realized that. Well, there's a couple thoughts. One, we knew that what you were doing for a job is what we really felt called to do, and we were never going to make any more money, no matter how many children we had. So, trying to figure out a way to raise what could have been a large family on
Right.
a limited income. So that was a big, and being able to make sure everybody was well fed.
Right.
Um,
I don't know. I my concern was, and this wasn't until we were buying the farm, so 2 years ago, because we're really moving into a rural place, and I didn't want the girls to hate is too strong of a word. I didn't want them to be mad,
resent
yeah,
us.
resent us or be mad or upset with us when they got older if they felt like they wanted to do things in the city or like being on a I guess there's still be possibilities for them being on a baseball or a softball team or
Hmm.
other groups or programs or whatever it is. But it's harder when you live uh, out here. So I wasn't sure. I don't want them to be mad at us. I guess that could still happen, but we hope and pray that they'll be happy out here and
Hmm.
they'll enjoy learning the things we're doing. So it did factor in. But we just decided to kind of go for
Well, and we also wanted them to learn, life skills and appreciate where their food comes
it. Right.
from and that kind of that kind of thing. Learn the value of hard work, and I mean, even now, just at 4, I mean, Micah takes care of the cats. That's her job, and she's very
She
proud of her
loves it.
job, and she loves those kitties, and she goes out and talks to them every day and gives them a pep talk in the mornings.
Yep. Chicken Wolf Ranch says
That's
they're struggling with the same thing. Yeah, and
it's a tough line. Like we signed him up for, like a little dance class, and even just taking them to that, it's you got to
It's a
drive.
commitment.
It's a commitment because it's not next door. So
Now the Rain Country's talking about the elk meat they got. That looked delicious. I want to try some of that. Every so often, some of the local churches will have these. It's not. I don't know what I want to call it
mhm.
a party, but it's like a big barbecue kind of thing, and people will bring all kinds of different meat to it. And I want to go to one sometime. I mean, they all kinds of wild game, just everything. They'll have squirrel chili and just I don't know all kinds of stuff. I want to
All
try it.
right, Grandpa Dan and Grammy are going to bed. So thanks for
Good
stopping
night.
by.
See ya. I know Peoria dude apologized and said that he was tired of the Cubs losing to the Cardinals for 46 years. I don't blame you. I have a lot of friends that are Cubbies fans and they're excited too. The Cubs have a really good, I mean, you guys are going to have a great team for the next 3 or 4 years at least. The Cardinals are just now starting to get some younger guys they're trying
Mhm.
to build up. So, what
Oh.
else was in our? What else was in our? I'm trying to think. What else was in our? One of the things we were trying to accomplish for this year. That
Oh,
I
what
just
else?
watched that video too,
I
like a
can't
week ago.
remember. Well,
I
we
thought I
talked
wrote it
about.
down. Did I write it down?
Yeah, I probably threw it away.
I had a little sheet over here. I don't see
We
it.
talked about getting ready to go solar, and we put kind of the brakes on that. It's a hard trade-off because we live with we limit the amount of electricity used, so our utility bill is really small.
Right.
So it seems silly to then go spend like $5,000 on a solar setup when you're only using like $60 worth of electricity each month. Like I understand it's better for the earth, and in the long run, over 30 years it'd save us money, but that's
Right. Yeah.
it's a lot of money.
Um. There's something I was gonna say about that too.
Hey, it's not John. He wrote the goals down. His wife threw them away.
Writes down goals, throw goals away. That was pretty good. All right, see you, Maria.
Thanks for stopping by.
And we've got the video on here
Yeah,
about the
you
goals.
check
We
it
can
out.
go back and check out. We should have like posted them somewhere though, so there'd be a little more of a reminder. I actually think we've met most of the
We have,
goals.
we have.
Yeah.
Well,
There's one more though I know that we haven't done yet. I
well, we
can't
didn't
remember
get
what it was.
rabbits.
Rabbits. We can still do that. We still have time for that. The other thing about solar, this is what I was gonna say. We've kind of decided. See you, Deep South. Thanks for
Yeah,
coming.
have a good night.
Um, the other thing about solar is we've been thinking, and we really want to pay off our farm. We'd like to try to. That's our next kind of big goal. And solar equipment right now is still. I mean, it's not expensive. You can definitely get smaller stuff. Um, but we decided for right now, we want to try and throw as much extra money as we can into trying
Mhm.
to pay off the farm as opposed to getting solar. So,
And I realize that there are people that do this. You just turn the electric off and
yeah.
do that. You don't have to go solar, but I feel like what we would trade, and the biggest thing is it's all about what like how it affects me, and that makes me feel a little bit selfish. But I couldn't imagine. I know people do it,
Night, Texas
but
boys.
doing the laundry, especially the
Get
diapers
Junior in bed.
by hand and things like that. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
would want to be able to take advantage of
Right.
modern conveniences because I want to be able to spend time with the children and not be
Well, it's
outside.
the same thing with the pump. Like to do, we could buy a generator, but we'd need to buy a really big generator for a
Hmm.
well pump because it uses so much electricity. Uh, and to get a solar system to run a well pump, you'd need a really big solar system to run one. And so we could do it if we got the solar or the simple pump, but that's still $1,500.
Yeah.
Hi, Dan. Good to see you, bud. Um, but
So
anyway,
and short speak. We don't really know exactly what we're doing, but we'll
Yeah.
get there eventually.
Right.
We just know we want to pay off the farm. That's our big goal. We don't want to owe anybody any money.
Mr. Rain wants to, or says he's been running his
Shop
shop tools off solar all summer. That's cool. That's
what
awesome.
electric things can you give up now? Well, we've already we don't have a microwave, and I don't really have any
We don't have a
little
toaster.
appliances. I have a KitchenAid mixer, but I don't use it very often.
Right.
Our big issue is the washing machine. I do not want to give up. And we did go down to a really low energy washing machine too.
We got a video
We do have a video that it's
of
called
that.
Off Grid Laundry. It uses only like 100 watts to run a cycle. It's pretty cool. And
And it
then
does a good job. We're happy with it
we
too.
have an electric stove that I use when it's too hot to use the wood stove. So,
Um, our, I mean, this doesn't count yet, but we've got a huge fridge,
oh yeah,
but we only use about half
we
of it.
do.
We've been trying to train ourselves to use a smaller one, so that if we do go solar, we can just buy a teeny tiny fridge and use that. The other thing we thought about doing is not using a fridge, just using a freezer, and then getting buying a really nice cooler and freezing water jugs and putting it in the cooler, and so we wouldn't have to have a fridge.
They asked, do we have propane? We used to. We don't anymore. They came and took the tank away because we weren't using it. So we
Yeah.
heat just with the wood in the winter, and the water heater is electric too, I guess.
And that's another thing that if we do eventually, sometime we'll switch whether we go off grid or not. I think I still want to go to it. Is use a propane water heater, the what are they called? Tankless propane water heater. And they're just a lot more efficient. I know they can be a little more finicky to use from what I've read, but I'd like to use that at some point in time, hook it up. My brother John says he can hook us up with some ideas for solar. He's answered a whopping 4 questions about it. See ya, Flying VS Farm.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Mr. Rain has a fridge and 2 freezers on solar.
And we did the math. We actually don't need that much, but it's just about making that initial investment and how long it would take to pay it back
Right.
when we could put it on the
And it's one of
farm.
the,
So
yeah, like once we can pay off the farm, then
it's just gonna be spending money.
then we'll feel okay buying stuff like that and spending money on it. But while we're still in debt, it just doesn't quite feel right. And Heidi Rain Country says that she uses hand crank mixers. No electricity, take up little space, can be found for under $20.
I didn't remember most things.
We get Micah on one of those.
So,
She loved that.
yeah. So Peoria dude asked a really long time when I was going to do a music special.
Oh, I thought about that.
Whenever the
Yeah.
music Nazi decides to.
Music Nazi. You go record a song whenever
No, I
you
don't
want,
really
and
want to.
we'll post it on YouTube.
I did play the recorder for the girls today. They brought it to me, and I played them "My Heart Will Go On" from Titanic.
You did not.
I did. And Micah stopped me and said, "No, no, mommy, I want a cool song."
No way, really?
She wanted something fast.
Oh, kids.
That was all I had though in my fourth grade repertoire.
Mr. Rain says in the winter short months, we're only able to run the computers and sometimes the fridge and the freezer full time. That's, um, yeah, that's the thing when you have to consider with solar is everything's fine and dandy in the summertime, and
Yeah.
then in the winter, that's when you got to plan for it.
And that's the last time of the year you want to be outside doing your diaper laundry.
Oh man. Hmm. Are there any other questions for us?
Yeah, I think
We might start trying to wrap
wrapping
it
it
up
up.
here pretty soon. Man, we thank you all for coming and hanging out. Thank you, Mr. Rain and Rain Country, for jumping in as moderators. We really appreciate that. They always do a great job. We had a lot of people
We
stop by. That
did.
was
We
fun.
appreciate that.
Usually in the past when we've done live streams, we let people know 4 or 5 days in advance. This was kind of
Yeah.
for us it was a little impromptu. Yeah, Heidi says their wood stove picks up in the winter where the solar leaves off. Yeah, I can
I
definitely
see
see
that.
that. See ya, Irene. Chicka Ranch asks, how is your wind speed here? Could we use wind power? And there are a couple farms around us that have old windmills, but we're in a valley, and I don't think that we would get quite the wind that we need. The ones that I've seen are up high on the bluffs, the river bluffs that we have here. We're kind of close to the Missouri River. I've seen a couple near the river bluffs, or the farms are just like a wide open spaces. They're in the middle of 300 acres of beans, and they've got one, and I could see them being able to get some decent
Hmm.
wind going. But where we are, we have trees all around us, and we're kind of down in a valley. Um, I don't think we'd get very good wind power. I've looked it
Yeah.
up too. Our average isn't very high.
Hey, Tia and Amanda, thanks for stopping by. So, yeah, I don't know. It can get pretty windy, but it's not a consistent. It would be a
Oh, Mr. Rain says his panels are facing east on a 512 pitch. Not so good for direction to the sun. I don't know. We've talked about that. I don't know where we'd put our panels. We the problem is the perfect place for it is where Laura has her laundry because the sun hits it really
mm.
good.
All right. Well, I guess everybody's going to bed. I kind of want to go to bed.
Okay. Thank you all for dropping by, and I know it's been a little bit it's kind of a late stream, but it's great to see everybody.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do we have running water on the property? We do. We have our well pump.
Oh, you mean like a stream?
Oh yeah, that kind of running
Yeah.
water. Oh man, I'm losing it.
We do. We have a tiny little
Mr.
creek,
Rain
but
asked. Oh,
it's not gonna move anything.
no. I don't even think that stream you'd even call it a wet weather stream. It very rarely has running water in it. I wish so. The farm next to us, they have a little creek that I am so jealous of running through their property. All right,
All
you
right,
ready to
we're
call
we're
it a
gonna
night?
call it. I
Thank you
think.
all so much for dropping by.
Appreciate it. And I know it's late for a lot of you, so.
Yeah, I know. Robert says it's almost 3 in the morning for him, so he's a trooper. Yeah, I know, Mr. Rain. I was thinking of the Pelton Wheel for Power. I know. The one of my favorite channels. I think they're hilarious. They're called Gridlessness, and he had a video about water power, and it's pretty cool. So, all right, well, we're gonna call it a night. Thanks for dropping by, and I guess we'll talk to you all later.
Bye.
Bye.